What's up, man? It's Bronco at the Frog coming at you with another reaction video. Top binge with a bang and go subscribe to that man. Get him to 100,000 subscribers. What is the greatest year in football history? Drop it right now in the comments, bro. I'ma assume that they go choose one of the El Clasico years, maybe. Especially if it was a World Cup that year. So maybe like one of the ones during the 2000s or 2010s type. One of the Messi Naldo years. I feel like they go put that as the greatest year in football history. But as you see, he's starting it all the way like back since 52. Somebody said 2016. Real Living said 2010. Fresh talking about some next year is going to be the greatest year. But yeah, it has to be a World Cup year for sure. Mike said 1998 in your opinion. Why 1998, Mike? Like he know what how 1998 was. I see boys saying 2014. He said it was just great, you know? Like, yeah, it was great. He said it was just great. I genuinely want to know what happened in 1998. I genuinely don't know. Bronco does not know. Let's see what goes down.
Football is special in its own right, but 2012 might just be the most iconic. Every year of football is special in its own right. He said 2012? 2012 might just be the most iconic of all time. Because in 2012, we witnessed the greatest goal-scoring run ever.
That's when Messi dropped 90 goals, 91, 92.
Premier League season.
Oh, Aguero having the same year?
And even the Champions League trophy won from a legend's final touch.
Chelsea. Didier.
We saw the best team ever assembled overthrown. We saw records that'll likely never be beaten, as well as new rules, transfer betrayals, and unbeaten title runs.
Oh, wow, damn. Dang, 2012 did go crazy. Hold on, let's rewind back a little bit. Austin to say something. The greatest team ever assembled?
We saw
that Lona team was the best team ever assembled? Or that was classified as the best team ever assembled? This team right here? Okay. Pep Barca, they won a treble, right? So it's like official that they the best team ever type. Sextuple. Damn. One of what teams y'all got for the best team ever? Best club team ever. Go. In y'all opinion. 2009 Barca. 2020 Bayern. 2020 Bayern. 09 Barca. I got 2 09 Barcas, 2 2020 Bayerns. 2011 Barca. I got 2 2011 Barcas. So basically, I'm seeing a lot of Barcas. He said 2013. Shit. 2017 Madrid. 2013 Bayern clears. 2020 Bayern. Yeah, COVID year. I feel like everything COVID is kind of like I don't know. Yeah, that city when low key do kind of got me. You feel me? Oh, my soundboard. Hold on. That city when do low key got me kind of. You feel me, Soundboy Bronco back in the building. But yo, hey, let's see what goes down.
Ever assembled, overthrown. We saw records that'll likely never be beaten, as well as new rules, transfer betrayals, and unbeaten title runs. Not to mention the peak of the greatest national team of all time, coupled with unlikely trophy wins.
Greatest national team all time, ended by who? Come on now. Come on now. Ended by who? Who snatched their chain? Who snatched their chain and ended their unbeaten streak? United States of America. USA! USA! Yeah, y'all mean, man. Quit playing with us, man.
National team of all time, coupled with unlikely trophy wins across Europe and South America. There were internet-breaking celebrations, unforgettable fallouts. There were internet-breaking celebrations.
That ain't even suitable for YouTube. I ain't even finna pause it. Just because it's on the tube, that ain't even suitable for YouTube, bro. We just go. Zlatan hit that in 2012.
And this all makes up just some of the things that happened throughout the year. So, this is a full recap of 2012, the most iconic year in the history of football. Before we get to 2012, it's important to give some context into the football landscape at the time, because football was a totally different game heading into 2012. Starting in Spain, Pep Guardiola's Barcelona side featuring legends Messi, Iniesta, and Xavi had won 2 of the last 3 Champions Leagues in spectacular fashion as their revolutionary tiki-taka style had embarrassed Man United in the 09 and 11 finals. Having already swept the previous 3 Ballon d'Or and La Liga titles, Messi, who was deployed in the false 9 role, orchestrated Barcelona's dominance as the Catalan club danced past nearly every opponent with whispers of greatest team of all time.
I know Messi FC was eating. I'm not asking nobody in a Twitch chat, YouTube, they're a little bit older than y'all. But I know back then, boy, I know Messi FC was eating good, boy.
Growing louder, moving to their El Clasico rivals, Real Madrid had spent heavily on Cristiano Ronaldo, Kaká, and Karim Benzema in recent years to build a new Galactico super team, but were unable to secure major silverware as Barcelona's golden era showed no signs of slowing. So, the Madridistas did the unthinkable as they appointed Jose Mourinho in an attempt to restore La Liga's natural order during the 11-12 season. And Real weren't the only traditional giants struggling to negotiate evolving dynamics, because looking over at England, Man United had won 4 of the previous 5 titles under Sir Alex Ferguson, but a new mega-rich force had landed in town. And by town, we literally mean town, because 7 kilometers south of Old Trafford, United's noisy neighbors Man City had been bought by billionaire Emirati owners with ambitions of taking over the Premier League.
Hey, now whether you agree, now whether you disagree, look at Pep Guardiola back there. Look at Pep. Whether you agree or disagree, hey, it was a successful move, start of a new era. They said they wanted to change around. They wanted to change their vision. They tired of losing. They want to win. You need money. Who has that money? Saudi Arabians.
The citizens were once the joke of English football, but with newfound financial power allured Carlos Tevez, Emmanuel Adebayor, Yaya Toure, and Robinho away from United, Arsenal, Barcelona, and Real Madrid, along with signing future legends like Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany, and David Silva to build it. Along with signing future legends like Sergio Aguero, Vincent Kompany,
it's Bayern coach.
And David Silva to build a team that could end United's 20-year-long dominance. And as 2012 drew closer, a changing of the guard moment unfolded under Sir Alex's eyes as City thrashed United 6-1 at Old Trafford and finally looked capable of snatching the Premier League title away from their arch-enemies. But could they pull off the unthinkable? In Germany, Borussia Dortmund were enjoying their moment in the sun after Jurgen Klopp's revolutionary tactics equaled Bayern Munich as they went into 2012.
Look at Jurgen Klopp. Bro, why did nobody in the early 2010s had swag, bro? Nobody, it's like everybody had they peak or they glow up past 2018, like in the 20s. I don't know, maybe it was society. Society didn't necessarily care about looks or did, bro. I was 13 in 2012, man, watch that. But I'm talking about these are grown adults, grown players. I guess this was before veneers. You know, you remember that maybe it was the 2014 World Cup when they were showing the close-ups of everybody in their faces and they all was just looking lame, bro. Nobody had aura on that hoe. I think it was the 2014 face cards.
Bayern Munich as they went into 2012 as favorites to retain their crown. Meanwhile, in France,
Ancelotti still looked the same. That man still looked the same. He still got the
PSG had recently been
eyebrows
by the Qatar Sports Investment Group as they intended to make the Parisian club the wealthiest and most powerful in Europe. They were sure to finally get their hands on that league title unless an underdog really came out of nowhere to stop them. And lastly, looking over to Italy, Juventus appeared to have finally recovered from their years of financial mismanagement, demotions, and inferiority to Inter and AC Milan because as the 2011-12 season hit December, the Old Lady were second in the league and unbeaten at the turn of the year. But could they really overthrow the imposing AC Milan? Funnily enough, each and every league, team, or dynasty I just mentioned was watching during 2012 as the year turned, because 2012 was not just the greatest year in history, but the year that changed football forever, as it literally shaped the next era of football, with dynasties failing and rising in every single competition.
So this was the turning point.
This is about to get very exciting.
Aguero! Start with
First
January.
of January 2012, and Jose Mourinho's Real Madrid sit top of the La Liga table, clear of second place Barcelona by 5 points. In La Liga, something unthinkable was happening. Despite Messi's imperious goal-scoring form, which saw the little Argentine net 17 goals before the turn of the new year, Guardiola's seemingly unstoppable Barcelona team trailed Real Madrid in by 5 points. With talk of Barcelona's decline swirling in international media, the El Clasico giants faced off in a two-legged Copa del Rey tie in January, a clash that tested whether Jose Mourinho could finally topple his great rival once more. It was their first meeting in 2012, which meant Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo were battling
already
on
winning.
a personal level for that year's Ballon d'Or. Across a fiery two legs, CR7 showed the world he was ready to go toe-to-toe.
Y'all remember we already watched that? Y'all remember we just watched that video about why football kits are so popular in America? They need to make a video on why baseball caps are so popular around the world. What the fuck Ronaldo got doing with a New York Yankees hat on? I know the New York Yankees. Nobody knows who the Yankees are. You can say that, whatever. But still, how in the hell did baseball caps get so popular like that? To where, like, well, obviously it's American influence because we wear it and make it look clean and make it look swaggy and all of that. Y'all remember that video when Ronaldo was in the damn room or sitting down on the couch with Lil Wayne and them? Nigga talking about some Young Money. You feel me? They can talk some Young Money. I mean, it was just cool. Like, you know, we Americans are just cool, bro.
The personal level for that year's
Ballon d'Or, still in his cool-looking era, swag era.
CR7 showed the world he was ready to go toe-to-toe with Messi, scoring 3 goals in the tie. But despite his brilliance, Madrid were edged out in a dramatic 4-3 aggregate defeat to Barcelona. At the time, it wasn't clear that Messi and Ronaldo would continue to dominate football for the next decade, and talk about who their successor as the world's greatest player could be was swirling. Players like Romelu Lukaku, Stefan El Shaarawy, and Lucas Moura put their names into the ring, but there was only one player the world was and talk about who the successor as the world's greatest player could be was swirling.
Predecessor for world greatest player. He was like that? Damn. That's crazy. Lukaku.
Lukaku, Stefan El Shaarawy, and Lucas Moura put their
El Shaarawy. Oh, I think I actually have heard of El Shaarawy.
Was swirling. Players like Romelu Lukaku, Stefan El Shaarawy, and Lucas Moura put their names into the ring, but there was only one player the world was taking seriously, Neymar Jr., a flamboyant, street-skilled Brazilian genius. The 19-year-old Santos winger's audacious tricks, flicks, and gravity-defying dribbling went viral online and marked the beginning of a new way young supporters interacted with the beautiful game. In previous years without digital media, the brilliance of a jaw-dropping wonder kid playing in the Brazilian Serie A might have seemed mythical, but Neymar's genius was available for the world to see on YouTube, and his hype reached a crescendo on January 9th, 2012, with his unbelievable solo goal against Flamengo that eventually won him the FIFA Puskas Award. But
this nigga won Puskas. He won Puskas outside of a Big Six league. This nigga won Puskas in Brazil. That's how different Neymar is.
2012 with
and was nominated for Ballon d'Or in Brazil.
Unbelievable solo goal against Flamengo that eventually won him the FIFA Puskas Award. But Neymar wasn't the only underdog threatening to overthrow football's traditional ruling class, because Klopp's Borussia Dortmund were powered by an emerging goal-scoring machine named Robert Lewandowski. The 23-year-old Polish striker provided 6 goal contributions.
Most of the Puskas aren't in the top 5? Really? All right, so Ronaldo won it 09. Turkey, Euros. So this was in the Euros, Champions League, Brazil. All right. 2012. Okay, this was in Turkey. You right. Friendly, that's Europe. World Cup. Okay, this Brazil again. Okay, you right. Malaysia, you right. I'll take it back then. Giroud. Mo, what the nigga won that hoe from Bulgaria? Hungary? And you telling me you ain't want to put Christian going against Panama in the top 5 because it's CONCACAF? But y'all letting niggas from Hungary win? Man, y'all crazy. That just shows just how much that boys we just be getting slighted, bro. That's all that be showing. Like, dang.
in 2 games at the start of 2012 as Dortmund went level on points in the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. Elsewhere, Juventus went level on points with AC Milan at the top of Serie A, and this was not supposed to be happening, as the Milan Giants were imperious throughout the 2000s, winning numerous Italian and Champions League titles, but perhaps they were starting to get complacent, because the star of Juventus' charge to compete against AC Milan was midfield maestro Andrea Pirlo, who'd been controversially deemed surplus to requirements and released by AC Milan at the end of the last season. And as the year unfolded, requirements and
big as shit. Look how big this nigga head is, like, compared with it. I mean, hey, shout out that man, but you sure there ain't no little you know, little PDs involved with it, you know, maybe for that nigga say he look like the first human ever. Y'all ass funny. We sure we ain't got no performance enhancers in there, maybe for like stamina or something to make, cause you know people who be on PDs head do get big. This nigga head, bro, he has the body of like a teenager, and look at his head.
Released by
Am I tripping?
AC Milan at the end of the last season.
I'm not tripping,
and as the
bro.
year unfolded, this would prove to be one of the biggest mistakes the club has ever made, as the aging Italian was spraying passes across midfield for the old lady, and the impossible return to glory seemed plausible.
Got an
because
MMA
by the
fighter
end of January, Juventus still hadn't lost a
Look at that, look at that.
Possible.
Nigga
Because
like
by the
5'2".
end of January, Juventus still hadn't.
Damn.
For the old lady and
the old lady got to be like the lamest nigga. He 5'10". If he listed at 5'10", then he really like 5'8".
February began on a slightly darker note as Luis Suarez was handed an 8-game ban after racially abusing Patrice Evra.
This is 2012.
Even greater controversy, as instead of condemning the incident, Liverpool decided to do the total opposite. During the warm-ups for the Premier League tie against Wigan Athletic, Liverpool's players, including Jamie Carragher and Steven Gerrard, bizarrely wore shirts in support of the Uruguayan striker. It became a media frenzy as the two giant clubs of English football would meet in a game at Old Trafford just a couple of weeks later, and despite promising to shake Evra's hand and move on from the incident, Suarez blanked and dodged the Man United fullback's handshake.
I ain't know this happened, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. We all know I don't like Luis. But I ain't know the. Well, I guess he did play for Poole, but I ain't know. But this was this was pre-Bron. You ain't gotta worry about that. This is pre-Bron. Anything that happens pre-LeBron don't got nothing to do with Bronco.
Signing controversy before the game even began. United won the heated derby match 3-1, and Evra contrasted Suarez's cold shoulder dramatically by celebrating exuberantly in front of the Liverpool.
Bro, that's just first year with Bron. Have you know? Still got to get stuff to warm up. Still got to warm up everything for things to get hit in fruition.
But unfortunately, the Suarez-Evra clash wasn't the only English racism scandal of the month, as Fabio Capello stepped down as England manager after the FA stripped John Terry's captaincy in response to the Chelsea centre-back being found guilty of racially abusing Anton Ferdinand, marking a controversial month to say the least.
John Terry?
Looking at the football, Man City remained ahead.
What'd he say? I ain't know John Terry was racist.
As February came to a close, and talk of the citizens getting their hands on a first Premier League title was intensifying. Elsewhere, Messi was already on his way to achieving a record-breaking campaign as the little Argentine bagged 4 against Valencia and 5 against Bayer Leverkusen, taking his 2012 tally to 20 goals before the end of February. The record for goals in a calendar year stood at 85, so Messi was going to have to keep up this form for the entire year if he stood any chance at breaking that. But incredibly, Messi's brilliance wasn't doing Barcelona any favors in the league, because by game week 25, Real were already 10 points clear and looked set to run away with the title. Meanwhile, in Germany, Borussia Dortmund were on fire during February as they won every Bundesliga match they played in and established a comfortable 4-point lead over Bayern Munich. And in Italy, Juventus hit in and established a comfortable 4-point lead over Bayern.
What that boy Archie do to him, bro? What Archie do to that man for him to walk up and yell in his face like that and he ain't even respond?
Munich.
He
and
knew he
Italy,
did something
Juventus
bad.
And AC Milan met in a crucial fixture at the San Siro. The pair were tied at the top of the table on goal difference, and a resolute away performance earned the old lady a point, ensuring they stayed well within the title race. Over in France, the race for the Ligue 1 title was heating up. Montpellier, a team from a small French city more recognizable for its wine culture than football, were defying the odds and competing with PSG PSG's multi-million-pound team. After 4 back-to-back victories, Montpellier arrived at Parc des Princes a point off the top spot, and a hard-fought 2-2 draw ensured they remained in the race to win their first Ligue 1 title. But 2012 was more than just club football, because this month saw a remarkable story in the African Cup of Nations as Zambia stunned Africa by winning its first ever AFCON final on penalties against Didier Drogba's Ivory Coast team. Ivory Coast were the clear favorites, as Didier was one of the best strikers in the world at the time, but somehow Zambia did it. Drogba returned to Chelsea hurt, but
how the hell did that happen? He said AFCON manager. How in the Didier? You was supposed to, you know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure Zombie ain't had. I know how y'all say football is played with 11 men on the pitch, but still though. Still.
Trust me, Drogba's story and redemption wasn't done yet.
Hervé Renard.
When the devastated Ivory Coast striker returned to Chelsea, realistic ambitions of winning silverware during his final season in West London were in tatters. Chelsea were 5th in the Premier League, 17 points behind the leaders, and had already been knocked out of the League Cup. That left them with the Champions League as the only option to save their season. Already been knocked out of seat. We're 5th in the
Chelsea love winning them some Champions Leagues when them boys not in Premier League contention. So they can put all they focus on the UCL instead of worrying about the type. Hey, y'all don't fool. Chelsea don't fool nobody. Chelsea don't fool nobody.
Premier League, 17 points behind the leaders, and had already been knocked out of the League Cup. That left them with the Champions League as the only option to save their season, but they seemed a million miles short of the strength of Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich, who they'd have to beat in order to win it. So, Roman Abramovich sacked struggling manager Andre Villas-Boas and replaced him with Roberto Di Matteo, Chelsea's
like Jose
former
Aldo.
Assistant coach. Di Matteo had never managed a team at the top level before.
This nigga don't look like Jose Aldo, bro. Tell me this nigga does not look like Jose Aldo. Like, come on.
And the London club season looked like it was going to fade into nothing. Yet, after a favorable Champions League draw saw the London club edge past Napoli and Benfica,
I want to know what John Terry
said. Place in the semi-finals. However, the task was daunting. They'd face Guardiola's Barcelona in a tie nobody gave them a chance of progressing from. But since the Premier League was long out the window, and Di Matteo had almost an entire month to conjure up a master plan, and you won't believe the drama that would unfold in this tie in the following month. But Di Matteo wasn't the only manager who needed a master plan, because Man City's form during March took a turn for the worse, including a shock defeat to the mighty Swansea City, a draw against Stoke City, which saw Peter Crouch score an absolute worldie, and a time
these niggas just lost
turn for the worst,
to Swansea and Stoke.
To the mighty Swansea City, a draw against Stoke City, which saw Peter Crouch score an absolute worldie, and a tie with relegation-threatened Sunderland, meaning they lost their lead to Man United and looked set for another year in the shadows of world-famous neighbors. And the tension in England just kept on building.
Now with the that's a bad look, John Teddy. That's a bad look. I understand times was different. You know, y'all probably talk like that back in the thousands or whatnot, but it's the 2010s now, John Teddy. You get hit in your motherfucking mouth for that. You know what I'm saying? This is not Jim Crow days. You know, yeah, exactly. He still think this is thousands and stuff.
But one team who were showing no signs of throwing away their lead at the top was Real Madrid. At the end of March, Los Blancos had won 13 and drawn 2 of their last 15 La Liga matches, won back-to-back games 5-1, and practically had one hand on the title. Something was different about this Real Madrid, and Jose Mourinho, he had them firing on all fronts. The defensive tactician had seemingly put together the best attacking team in Europe, and coupled with Ronaldo's 17 La Liga goals since the return of the year, supporters really started to wonder if Real could win their first Champions League since 2002, as they were drawn against Bayern Munich for the following month's semi-final.
Did say that Real Madrid had fell off for a good minute in the thousands.
He had them firing
first since 2002.
The defensive tactician had seemingly put
so
together
who was
the best
so Barcelona
was
the team that was just terrorizing during that time, or was it like well distributed, the Champions League victories, while Real Madrid was out?
Of the year, supporters really started to wonder if Real could win their first Champions League since 2002, as they
2000. I'm trying to pause it on the right time. There it is. 2002. Porto, Man U, Inter, Barca. Pool got them one in 2005. Tight shit.
Two, as they were drawn against Bayern Munich for the following month's semi-final. But the tie wouldn't be straightforward because the Bavarian side were in desperate need of redemption themselves as they faced a devastating 1-0 loss at Signal Iduna Park against Dortmund and outrailed their D-Klassia rivals by 6 points. Almost unthinkably, Bayern looked set to miss out on the Bundesliga title to Klopp's energetic gegenpressing team. Young stars like Mario Götze, Robert Lewandowski, Mats Hummels, and Ilkay Gundogan were among the most exciting players in Europe at the time and were each linked with moves to elite European teams. The reputation Klopp and his youngsters were building in the Bundesliga would help to define football for the following decade, but more on that later. In Serie A, Juventus extended their unbeaten run into 29 games as the Old Lady beat Fiorentina 5-0 away from home before seeing off Inter Milan the following week. But rivals AC Milan had won each of their last 8 Serie A matches, including the previous month's draw against Juve, and somehow returned to the top of the table. This was a title race that looked set to go to the wire. It was a similar story in Ligue 1 because after 29 matches, Montpellier were level on points with PSG, and dreams of winning a first top-flight title were hanging on a knife's edge. Even still, few were giving the Southern France outfit a chance against PSG's millions until a door was opened on March 31st after the Parisians suffered a shock 2-1 loss to Nice. Montpellier responded with an iconic 3-1 win away.
They put Michael Jackson where y'all kids y'all ought to be doing something.
With just 8 games remaining, the unfancied club had a serious chance of actually winning the title for the first time.
April.
Despite the hundreds of millions of pounds spent, 3 Premier League titles, and a team of stars like Frank Lampard, Didier Drogba, and John Terry, Chelsea had never lifted a Champions League trophy, but that doesn't mean they hadn't been deserving of one. Liverpool's semi-final ghost goal wrongfully denied them a place in the final in 2005. In 2009, Chelsea were controversially denied a place in the final again after Tom Henry produced one of the worst refereeing performances of all time to help Barca sneak past the London club and earn a place in the final. So, as Chelsea met Barca for another semi-final in 2012, the team had a chance for justice, but the tides had shifted massively since the pair last met. Throughout the 2000s, Chelsea were considered among the best teams in Europe, but as Guardiola and Messi's tiki-taka football took over Europe and won Champions League titles in 2009 and 2011, the London club were barely considered in the same stratosphere as the Catalan geniuses. When Messi and the London club were barely considered the Champions League titles,
got beat by them in the final the previous year. Nah, he over here pulling the KD all happy and shit. Let's go lift the trophy. Let's go lift this trophy.
11, the London club were barely considered in the same stratosphere as the Catalan geniuses. When Messi, Iniesta, Xavi,
that's what I'm saying. Thierry Henry should be able to talk about it in the same. He pulled a KD before KD did. Dead ass serious. If you want to be real, even worse than, well, I ain't gonna say it's about the same level. It's about the same level.
11, the London club were barely considered in the same stratosphere as the Catalan geniuses. When Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, and Busquets stuttered onto the turf of Stamford Bridge, almost everybody expected a slaughter. But against all the odds, a ferocious London atmosphere fired Chelsea to a 1-0 first leg win through a Didier Drogba strike. Still, expectations of Chelsea holding on to their lead at the Camp Nou were limited, and expectations of defeat turned to resignation as Captain John Terry received a red card with the Blues the goal on the night. Iniesta scored to make it 2, but Ramirez struck to level the tie and moved Chelsea ahead on away goals just before halftime. Incredibly, 10-man Chelsea remained resolute to Barca's second-half onslaught, and after 90 minutes were on the brink of an unlikely qualification to a first-ever Champions League final. In response, Guardiola sent all his players forward for an attack in the final seconds. It was the moment everybody expected Barcelona to get themselves out of jail and win a place in the final, but something truly remarkable happened. After the ball was blocked and cleared by a Chelsea defender, it landed at Fernando Torres' feet, who found himself with the entire Barcelona half to run into.
Fernando Torres! Oh, watch out. Is that Raymond back there? Is that Raymond?
To get themselves out of jail and win a place.
This Raymond Hudson?
Something truly remarkable happened. After
of course
the ball
it is.
was blocked and cleared by a Chelsea defender, it landed at Fernando Torres' feet, who found himself
that's
with
not
the
Raymond.
Barcelona half to run into.
Most dramatic story of the season. It's Torres to give Chelsea.
So you telling me that motherfucker twice? It's not Ray Hudson. That's Neville who was back there doing all that moaning. Oh, okay. I thought that was Ray. Bro, are you sure that's not Ray Hudson? That sounds damn near exactly like Ray. So who is so it's Gary Neville and who? Gary Neville, yep, son of Neville. So who the other commentator?
He rounded the keeper and slotted the ball into the empty net to book Chelsea's place in the final. And adding to Barcelona's woes, Real Madrid were unstoppable, winning all but 4 La Liga matches between January and the end of April to secure the title for the first time during Guardiola's reign, finally putting an end to the Guardiola dynasty in Spain. But Jose Mourinho's Los Blancos were the clear favorites to win the Champions League too, as they faced Bayern Munich in the competition's semi-final. The German club had a big reputation in the Champions League, but they weren't the same as the one who conquered Europe in yesteryear. By the time of the semi-final, they'd already squandered the Bundesliga to Klopp's Dortmund team, and everybody agreed that if the Bavarians couldn't compete for the title in Germany, they had no chance against Mourinho's star-studded side.
Nigga, that's Bayern's nickname? Bavarian?
Klopp's Dortmund team, and everybody agreed that if the Bavarians couldn't compete for the title in Germany, they had no chance against Mourinho's star-studded side. But against the odds, Bayern frustrated Madrid at the Allianz Arena and came away with a shock 2-1 victory. But, like Chelsea in the other semi-final, few supporters expected the Bundesliga's second-place side to have much of a chance at the Bernabeu. And Real wasted no time in stamping their authority on the tie. Ronaldo scored twice within the opening 14 minutes to flip the game on its head, but it just didn't happen. Robin scored after 27 minutes to level the tie, and the game eventually went to penalties, where Ronaldo, Kaká, and Sergio Ramos missed spot kicks to help Bayern reach an unlikely Champions League final against Chelsea, and a final that would save one club season whilst breaking the other. Elsewhere, Man United were in pole final that to help Barkley went to penalties, where Ronaldo scored after 27 minutes to level the tie, and the game eventually went to penalties, where Ronaldo, Kaká, and Sergio Ramos missed spot kicks to help Bayern reach an unlikely Champions League final against Chelsea, and a final that would save one club season whilst breaking the other. Elsewhere, Man United were in pole position to win a 19th top-flight title until drop points against Wigan and Everton opened the door for Man City's return to top spot as long as they beat United at the Etihad on April 30th. City won the match 1-0 and went into the final 2 games of the season leading on goal difference, but they knew any slip-up would be fatal. The Serie A continued to excite as Juve remained unbeaten, but still only led Milan by 3 points as the season approached its final games. But it wasn't just in the top leagues where football was changing, because at the time, Rangers were Scotland's dominant force in domestic football, winning the previous 3 titles and leading Celtic's total by 11 top wins.
When is the last time somebody other than Celtic and Ranger has won the Scottish Premier League? 5. Celtic. Damn, Celtic been whooping the damn. Celtic on the Rangers like that. Celtic, Rangers, Celtic. Celtic, Rangers, Rangers, Celtic, Rangers, Celtic, Aberdeen. So it's been 1984 since a team that's not Celtic or Rangers has won the Scottish Premier League. Like, what's the even point of being... like bro said, boys enjoy the Scottish Premier League. What's the even point of even being a fan of this damn league or of a team that's not the Celtics or Rangers?
2012, the Glaswegian club faced financial uncertainty and lost their grip on the SPL. Celtic won the 11-12 campaign, kickstarting an era of unprecedented Scottish dominance,
was with Aberdeen.
Where they go on to win another 13 titles over the following 14 years.
He said, ain't no way motherfuckers 9-peated and they didn't boycott. Oh my mama, we all pulling our team. Bro, we finna go over here to, I don't know, bro. Y'all got to do something. Make our own league without Scottish and Rangers. Force their ass to go, I don't know.
Reinstate themselves as the country's most successful club. And lastly for April, Montpellier fell to an away defeat at FC Lorient, which threatened to derail their impossible title charge. But the unlikely leaders maintained their 3-point lead over PSG as April came to a close, and all of this setting up May to be one of the greatest months in football history.
They pulled a Bayern. May.
Where do we even start?
Ooh,
Football
Lord.
history was being written all across Europe. But let's begin in Spain because while Madrid had already won La Liga in April and both El Clasico sides were out of the Champions League, there was still plenty to play for. The early 2010s saw social media begin to reshape the way fans connected with football. Twitter debates, meme culture, and the rise of player-led fan
Yeah, for
accounts
all y'all
created
young bucks who think that social media just now getting a popping or social media is just now doing this and that, hey,
all across Europe. But let's begin
Twitter,
in Spain
Twitter
because
was a
while
thing
Madrid
in
had
the early 2010s. Believe me, Facebook, social media, Instagram, all of that. What's up, Roger?
already won La Liga in April and both El Clasico sides were out of the Champions League, there was still plenty to play for. The early 2010s saw social media begin to reshape the way fans connected with football. Twitter debates, meme culture, and the rise of player-led fan accounts created a new kind of loyalty among younger
Now,
supporters.
fan accounts,
culture,
I
and
ain't
the
gonna hold you.
rise of
Fan
player-led
accounts is a new
created
generation
kind
thing.
of loyalty among younger supporters, less centered around their local clubs and more towards superstar individuals. And no debate burned hotter online than the eternal question, Messi or Ronaldo? Increasingly, young, globalized fans follow the El Clasico duo as standalone icons. Their goals, stats, and GOAT credentials became as important as their team's trophies. Ronaldo had been unstoppable through Real's record-breaking 100-point La Liga title, scoring a ridiculous 44
everybody
goals,
gets a fan
but
account
Messi
these
somehow
days.
one-upped him because he scored 5 goals in the final 2 matches. Messi trailed the Portuguese forward by a goal heading into the final 2 matches to finish the season on 50 goals and win the La Liga's Golden Boot. The battle for the Ballon d'Or was well and truly on between the pair. And right now, it was the battle for the
You know what, Messi with the little skinny jeans? Okay, Messi. Okay, Neil. That boy Neil say he swagged out. Out here looking like a damn high schooler. That boy is funny as hell for this fit. Are those high top Adidas? I know those are not no damn high top Adidas that he got on, man. Oh, that's nefarious, Neil. Nefarious.
Ballon d'Or was well and truly on between the pair, and right now, it was neck and neck. But still, Messi and Ronaldo's race for individual supremacy in La Liga was nothing more than a footnote in the craziness of May 2012. In France, Montpellier ended the season strongly with 4 wins from 5 matches, but it wasn't enough to create a large lead over second-place
that's
PSG.
how
But a
cooked the league one is.
94th-minute winner against third-place Lille ensured they'd go into the final game against bottom-placed AG Auxerre
That nigga talking
with
some
the
biker
ability to
jeans.
win
What?
the league.
Tell
But
me
the
that.
final day wasn't straightforward. After 20 minutes, their already relegated opposition took the lead, threatening to spoil the party of a lifetime in Montpellier. Fortunately, John Utaka stepped up to
said
save
they
the day,
lost the lead to
leveling the game
Montpellier.
after 32 minutes
Boom.
before scoring a winner in the closing stages and giving the town of Montpellier unrivaled scenes of
that Monopoly.
jubilation. Montpellier had beaten the millions of PSG to win their first ever top-flight title in what turned out to be a sliding doors moment for the power dynamics of Ligue 1, because come the summer, PSG would go absolutely crazy in the transfer window, but let's not rush. In Italy, Juventus had won back-to-back games and still hadn't lost all season going into May, but with just a 3-point advantage over AC Milan and with only 3 games to go, could they keep their nerve to win the first Serie A title since their demotion from the top flight? A draw
top
at home
flight,
to
we reacted to that
18th place
video.
Lecce put champagne on ice as Milan went within a point of the old lady, heading in.
Draws. Yeah, bro. But no losses. These niggas almost got as many draws as they do wins. But hey, no losses. You know?
To the final 2 matches. However, to keep the pressure on, Milan would have to navigate a tricky San Siro derby with Inter having the home advantage. Naturally, the San Siro was fueled by Inter's desperation to prevent their city rivals from winning yet another league title, and they took an early lead through Diego Milito after 14 minutes. But
Y'all see Afro comment? YouTube, he thought he was he thought he was cooking. The math don't add up, buddy. This nigga just said 38 draws or 37 wins and 1 loss. The math is not mathing, buddy. You get 3 points for each win. You get what I'm saying? That nigga thought that was equal. That nigga thought he thought 38 draws was equal to 37 wins and 1 loss. Hey, it sound good. Hey, I see how I get your mind frame, bro. I get your mind frame. It sounded equal, fool. It low key did sound equal, but You know what I'm saying?
2 goals from
Bro,
Zlatan
that ain't
Ibrahimovic
funny,
either
man.
side of halftime turned the game on its head. At the same time,
You saying,
Juve
hold on,
were
so
leading
what
on
are you saying? You said 38 draws or 37 wins and 1 loss. What else could you have meant by that? Oh, okay. See, bro, you should have typed it in better. What he was trying to say, YouTube, was would you rather win the league with 38 draws or win the league with 37 wins and 1 loss? Was that what you was trying to say? If that was you was trying to say, then you sent that across wrong. You can't win the league with 38 draws. So what was he trying to say? Bro. Hey, we continue.
And the title race appeared
know
set
what
to
this man
go
was
to
trying to
the
say.
wire. But Inter were not so prepared to let their arch enemies go into the final day with a fighting chance of glory, so Milito and Maicon scored late goals to make the scoreline 4-2 as Juventus held on at Cagliari to win Serie A in dramatic circumstances. Fans swarmed the pitch to celebrate the history-making undefeated
Why this nigga ain't got no
Scudetto
drawers
win
on?
with stars
No
Andrea
pants
Pirlo,
on.
Giorgio
Shorts.
Chiellini, Arturo Vidal, and Leonardo Bonucci. It was an evening of monumental, decade-lasting importance in Serie A because before the 11-12 season, AC
He said
and
go
Inter
back, look
Milan
at
had
Vidal there.
dominated Italian football, winning 3 Champions Leagues and 7 Serie A titles in the previous decade. But Juventus' unbeaten title in 11-12 marked the beginning of a new era, as with increased commercial revenue from their new stadium,
who the hell
club
are
went
those
on to win an
flagmen
incredible
over here?
9
They look
consecutive
stout.
league titles. Andrea Pirlo was named Serie A Player of the Season in 2012, 2013, and 2014,
Pirlo.
confirming AC Milan's decision to let him go to Juve on a free as arguably the worst in the club's
On a
entire
free is
history.
crazy.
Elsewhere, in Germany, Dortmund had already clinched the Bundesliga back in April, prompting wild celebrations in front of the towering Yellow Wall. But they had another chance to humiliate Die Klassiker rivals Bayern Munich in the DFB Pokal final. A Robert Lewandowski hat-trick powered BVB to a 5-2 victory over Bayern to clinch an iconic domestic double.
And
take the
embarrassing it-
Bavarian
I ain't-
club's
I ain't know they
confidence
won the
further
double.
before their Champions League final date with Chelsea later that month. And while Dortmund's back-to-back Bundesliga winning team didn't go on to experience an era of prolonged success throughout the 2010s, it birthed the careers of numerous talents who defined the decade. Jurgen Klopp later moved to Liverpool, where his gegenpressing football revolutionized the beautiful game as the English club won the
said he
Premier
got
League
it.
and Champions League. Robert Lewandowski would eventually switch to Bayern Munich, where he'd
I
won
like them
8
Bayern kids.
Bundesliga
I like the
trophies
kids with the
and
white
Champions
accents.
League. And Ilkay Gundogan joined Man City, where he won 5 Premier League titles and a
Yep.
Champions League. But what was the catalyst for City's Premier League dominance? Well, we
Lewandowski.
have to go back to 2011-12, a time when
The
City
thing
had
that
never
make
lifted the Premier
Lewandowski, what he did feel a little bit better, is he went to go join Bayern, but they just beat Bayern. They just whooped their ass. So he basically on some I'm finna join it and help y'all type shit. Help y'all get back to winning, you know? Shout out that man Rob.
League, but with 2 games to go, they were undoubtedly closing in on their first, and this was about to go down as the most dramatic end to a Premier League season ever. After beating United under the lights at the Etihad, manager Roberto Mancini and his army of multi-million-pound recruits knew if they avoided slipping up in their final 2 matches, they'd lift
So
the
Rob
Premier
did
League
pull a
trophy.
KD.
But first, a tricky away match against Newcastle at St. James Park, where 2 iconic goals from towering midfielder Yaya Toure ensured
Toure.
City would go into the final day ahead of United on goal difference, and barring an unlikely 10-goal swing, a final day victory over QPR would be enough to clinch their first Premier League title, irrespective of
y'all see
United's
them mountains
result
back there?
against Sunderland. Beating 17th place QPR seemed like a formality, but the day unfolded into the most dramatic of Premier League and arguably European football history. What began as a fairly routine afternoon soon spiraled into chaos. At the Stadium of Light, Wayne Rooney gave Manchester United an early lead against Sunderland after 20 minutes, while over at Manchester, Pablo Zabaleta's first half strike had City ahead at the break.
Fact
With
that
45
went in,
minutes
you shoulda
left,
knew
City
that they
were
was
clinging
going
on to the
in.
top spot on goal difference, but the drama was only just
said
beginning.
BVB said all they
Djibril
players
Cissé
and they old players
equalized for
winning
QPR
trophies.
after 48 minutes, and
Damn.
the tension inside the stadium reached melting point as United continued
Yeah, it
to
feels
lead in their
bad for,
match. Unless Mancini's
BVB.
team could find a
We
goal,
know they ain't
they
no
looked set
serious
to
club.
throw away the Premier League. And things got even worse as after 66 minutes, Jamie Mackey made it 2-1 to QPR, and a shell-shocked City side was suddenly in need of 2 goals in the final 25
And not only that, bro, the goals that QPR Queens Park Rangers are scoring is worldlies. What the this boy?
Find a
What?
goal, they look set to throw away the Premier
They
League.
hitting
And
bangers.
Things got even worse.
Try
as
to
after
close they
66
title holds
minutes,
down. This
Jamie
is
Mackie
personal,
needed 2
goddammit.
run to QPR, and a shell-shocked City side was suddenly in need of 2 goals in the final 25
They can
minutes.
say he was
After
mad.
90 minutes, nothing had changed. City were still trailing. They still needed 2 goals to secure the title, and meaningful efforts at goal were sparse. To make matters worse, United had won at Sunderland as the final
did.
whistle was blown, but there was no ecstasy, eruption of noise, or celebration
They gotta
because
hope
seconds
City
earlier,
lose.
news that City had equalized
Or
through
draw.
an Edin Dzeko goal had
Whoop.
broken through. The
Dzeko.
citizens continued to push as time
he's a
ran
bloke.
out.
Yep, look at that bloke. Yeah, that's a proper bloke right
Goal
there.
had broken through. The citizens
Look at this bloke.
continued to push as time ran
Come on, then. Come on, then.
out, and the rest is history.
Aguero! I done watched this video like 50
Man
times.
City had done it. They'd finally won the Premier League title, and this day marked a shift in English football as Man City went on
They
to
done took the
dominate the
reins.
league over the next decade, whilst United won just one more title in 2013 before falling so hard from
Look
grace.
away, United
the
fans.
football world couldn't stop talking about the final day of the Premier League season for weeks, but attention eventually diverted to the Champions League final
Champions
between
League
Chelsea
final.
and Bayern Munich that was going to be played in Bayern Munich's own stadium, making this game that much harder for Chelsea. For 83 minutes, the game was hardly a classic, and despite Chelsea's inferior quality,
Hardly.
they limited their Bavarian opposition to half chances until Müller headed home across, sending the Allianz
Rocket
into a
League bounce
frenzy
pass
as
shot.
Bayern appeared set to win its 5th Champions League trophy. But in the final kick of injury time, and with Chelsea's hopes diminishing by the second, Didier Drogba provided
Drogba.
a clutch moment as he headed Juan Mata's inviting cross into the back of the net to
Clutch.
take the game to extra time.
Clutch.
Extra time passed without incident, and penalties loomed to decide the club's season's biggest game. Mata missed Chelsea's opening penalty, while Lam scored as Bayern edged closer to glory. But Chelsea responded well by scoring their
I need
next
to watch
3
this full
as
one
Munich's
in
Olic and
total.
Schweinsteiger missed spot kicks. Suddenly, Drogba, the man who had devastatingly missed out on AFCON
Come on
glory
now,
on
whole
spot
world know
kicks
he
with
finna hit
Ivory
this.
Coast
Oh, the
earlier
script
that
says.
year, stepped up to take the final kick. To add to the drama, it would be Drogba's final touch of a ball in Chelsea blue after announcing he'd leave at the end of the season. The
Galatasaray.
legendary striker stuttered his run-up slightly,
Oh.
sent Neuer the wrong way, and rolled the ball into the corner. In that split second, everything changed. Chelsea were European champions. Drogba wheeled away in pure ecstasy, arms wide, running toward the sea of blue. There was no choreography, just raw release and years of agony undone in a
That's
heartbeat.
a story mode ending for real, for real.
What a month. And after all that, football fans
All
were
in the
truly
same
spoiled in
year.
2012 because the Euros were about to kick off, meaning the magic was far from over.
All this was before the Euros, bro.
On the back of 2008 and 2010 international triumphs, Spain were the clear favorites heading into the tournament, and with the likes of Xavi and Iniesta. But there were 2 other nations that posed a threat to Spain's domination. Germany, who lost to Spain in the 08 final, had a star-studded squad including Khedira, Özil, Neuer, and Schweinsteiger. And Italy were bolstered by the stars of
More
Juventus'
swagged
Serie A
out.
win, including Andrea Pirlo and Giorgio Chiellini. The group stages ended with all the tournament's major contenders progressing. In the quarterfinals, Spain impressed with a commanding 2-0 win over France, while Andrea Pirlo humiliated England with a cheeky Panenka in a penalty shootout. While Andrea Pirlo humiliated England with a cheeky Panenka.
Oh, bro, you as a grown man, I don't give a what happens. Should never ever in any position should have your ass up, legs spread up like this, like another grown man made you do that, bro. Panenka your ass. He wanted, he wanted it.
In a penalty
That
shootout
is
to send
disgusting.
Italy through. Cristiano Ronaldo
Mission.
boosted his Ballon d'Or
Legs
credentials
over
by scoring the
shoulders.
winner against the Czech Republic,
Free.
and Germany overpowered Greece 4-2. Portugal faced favorite Spain in the first semi-final. If Ronaldo could drag his
Joe
inferior
Hart.
team to international glory against the stars of Barcelona and Real Madrid's uber-successful club teams, he'd undoubtedly become the favorite for the Ballon d'Or. The game ended 0-0 after 90 minutes, and the score remained the same after extra time. The semi-finals' cagey nature limited Ronaldo to speculative efforts throughout normal time, but now the Portuguese forward would finally have an opportunity to make his mark on the game and send his nation to the final. Except he didn't. Ronaldo opted to take his penalty.
I was sitting here, tell me why I'm sitting here calculating the data through my mind. I'm like, bro, I don't remember seeing this goal. Like, if he would have hit that, because I was finna be astonished. I was finna say, bro, what are they talking about? I don't remember no goal like this.
In an attempt to take the game-winning spot kick. But after Moutinho and Alves missed penalties for Portugal, Spain won the shootout and booked their place in the final without CR7 even touching the ball. The other semi-final saw Italy bad boy Mario Balotelli terrorize Germany with 2 ruthless strikes, the second prompting the forward to remove his shirt and flex his muscles to reveal a ripped physique that became one of the most iconic football images of the year. Germany scored a late consolation goal through an Ozil penalty, but it wasn't enough to stop Italy marching on to meet Spain in the final.
Italy, man.
Even though Spain won the 2008 Euros and the 2010 World Cup, winning a 3rd consecutive international tournament seemed a ridiculous feat to achieve. Before Spain, no European team had won back-to-back international tournaments, never mind 3. A victory against Italy in the 2012 final would make the Golden Team immortal in an international context. But Spain had already played Italy and were frustrated by the Italians during the group stages as they endured a sluggish 1-1 draw, and Italy's defensive structure appeared equipped to deal with the playmaking talents of Spain, and many in the media took them to prevent Vincente Del Bosque's side from picking up yet another award. Despite lofty expectations, things unraveled quickly for Italy. Man City star David Silva slotted the opener for Spain after 14 minutes, and Valencia's Jordi Alba doubled the lead before halftime. As the Spanish midfield played triangles among each other, Italy's Andrea Pirlo helplessly chased shadows, resembling a lost schoolboy more than the greatest Italian maestro of his generation. Spain scored 2 late second-half goals through Chelsea duo Fernando Torres and Juan Mata to seal the most emphatic Euros final scoreline in history and become the first international team to ever win 3 back-to-back tournaments. With the Euros concluded, the transfer window had now opened, and clubs were looking to spend big as the world of football was going to change forever. PSG and Man United were gearing up in the transfer market to prevent recent title winners Man City and Montpellier from establishing eras of dominance on their own. PSG signed Zlatan Ibrahimovic, fresh off scoring the goal of the tournament at Euro 2012, and Brazil captain Thiago Silva from AC Milan. Almost immediately, their investment paid dividends. PSG won their first
United, on the other hand,
during 12-13 and laid the foundations for a super team that would transform French football, winning 11 of the next 13 league trophies. It's safe to say Montpellier may have won the Battle of 2012, but PSG definitely won the war. Meanwhile, Man City's 94th minute title win must have scared the bosses at Old Trafford, because United went all out to sign Arsenal striker Robin van Persie. The Dutch striker eventually joined the Red Devils for £22 million in one of the most controversial transfer sagas of all time.
This was like a Figo, right?
United secure a 20th Premier League title during the 12-13 season, but he was just a temporary plaster over a hole because nobody could
so United did end up winning after
Man City during the following years. The once belittled, noisy neighbors won an outstanding 7 of the next 11 Premier League titles, including an unprecedented 4 back-to-back triumphs between 2021 and 2024, and even picked up a treble of their own as they start to rival United's legacy in English football. The moment you've all been waiting for. Whilst this whole year has been going on, one thing remained constant throughout. Lionel Messi just would not stop scoring. He kept this form up throughout the start of the 12-13 season and ended up smashing the record for most goals in the calendar year, ending on 91.
I'm thinking, bro, I'm still sitting. I almost forgot the name of the damn video. I'm thinking this is just like key moments in the 2010s or something. Nigga, this is all in 1 year.
The greatest individual year in football history. Cristiano Ronaldo didn't have a bad year either, finishing with 69 goals, making for an insane rivalry that would continue over the next decade. But as far as 2012 was concerned, Messi lifted the Ballon d'Or to close off the greatest year in the history of football.
Bro. Hey, W video about it, man. Top bends, big bends. Top bands, get that man to 100,000 subscribers, man. Y'all already know the deal, bro. The greatest year in football history, 2012. After all of the evidence that has been depicted in front of me, I have no argument. Well, I see a 2014 right here. Then, oh, this is a higher story. Let me know if y'all still disagreeing with 2012. Yeah, I think I only seen one person say 2012. I seen 2009. I seen somebody say 2013. I seen somebody say 2016. I seen somebody say a different year. But bro, 2012, ooh, like Multiplier won Uber Eats. City with the Aguero won the Premier League. Juve back on top with the Serie A. Chelsea first Champions League. Messi 90 goals. Like Cinema, Spain, 3-time the first European team to win 3 back-to-back national trophies. Bro, nuts. Hey, shout out, clap it up again for the 2012 for the greatest year. Oh yeah, BVB won the Bundesliga. Clap it up for 2012 for the greatest year in football history. Real living say you still say 2010 because you was in South Africa during the World Cup. So the vibe type shit. That's why I was surprised. I was surprised that it wasn't a World Cup year that he said was the greatest year. But yeah, hey, that was pretty live, man. Hey, if you made it to the end of the video, appreciate y'all for rocking out, watching, chilling with us at the Twitch stream. You already know the deal. YouTube, head over to the Twitch. You know we be chilling and whatnot. Hey, greatest year in football history, 2012. I'm out.